Oh,
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Good. Great. Wow, we are back on the Voice of Putnam County Business. Seems like the weather is breaking outside. It gives me a little boost of energy. And today, Matt, it feels like a little blast from the past because we have a guest that was our original first guest ever on the Voice of Putnam County Business. And man, just to be sitting here with you two guys makes my day.
could it be better? I don't think so. Good seeing you, buddy. We are, in fact, really pretty lucky now. We've got our first guest, who is John Kraus. And when we knew him last, he was a banker. But now he's reinvented himself. John, welcome to the program. Tell your friends out there and us a little bit about what you've been doing for the last little while and what you hope to do in the near future.
Oh, great. Well, first of all, great seeing you guys again. And
See you, John.
does this
Old
now
friends.
make me the first repeat?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure does.
I think that a lot of people are going to want this, but they're not going to get it right off.
Does this officially make me a trailblazer?
I would say so.
I'd say there's an honorary trailblazer in the future.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for having me back, and it's great seeing everybody again, and my friends here from Putnam County. I've been retired from banking for about a year now, a little over a year, after spending 24 and a half years with Tompkins Community Bank, where I've had a marvelous and fantastic career, a lot of wonderful memories, accomplishments, and so forth. But had some time now to reflect on what I want to do with the next chapter of my life. And one of those decisions came being that I'm not ready to hang up the cleats. I got some more fuel in this jet engine here, and a lot of runway in front of me. So I got to figure out what to do now.
That's
With the next
inspirational. So tell us a little bit more about it.
So after experimenting as to whether I want to get back into banking or do I want to maybe do some more instructional training, which is where I left off with Tompkins. But as I started exploring some opportunities, I came across some business friends, of course Jen being one of them, that told me that, John, you have all this wonderful knowledge and experience inside that brain of yours there, and why don't you put it to use there and so forth? And I said, well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but how do I go about doing that? And that's what I thought, by getting back in the bank, and I can maybe pick off where I left off. But so it seems like the winds of change have taken me a different direction. And so a few months ago, I decided, something, I'm going to give consulting a whirl here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out that there's a lot of people out there that I've come across that said, yeah, we've done the same thing too. They've done some consulting on the side to try to keep themselves active, keep their mind their mind active and flowing. And I said, well, I think I'm going to try to do the same thing here too. So what kind of consulting can I do?
Yeah.
So and speaking with a number of business owners, real estate investors, and so forth, they said, John, you have this knack of being able to coach and advise entrepreneurs. But now what I can do is I can come across and give this message and advice from a banker's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So to give you an example, a lot of business owners, and I've encountered this when I was a banker, being in lending and credit my entire career. I've encountered this numerous times where business owners or real estate investors will come to me and says, I need some financing, but I'm not sure how much financing I need, what I exactly need it for. But I just know that I'm running short of money and my cash flow is being strained now and so forth. And of course, then digging through the weeds and so forth, I was able to come to the root causes of what the borrowing needs would be. But that was, again, while I was a banker. So I'm thinking, well, why can't I do this to advise business owners so when they do approach a bank for a loan, they're better prepared and they can be more confident with their presentation. And not only that, being able to put themselves in a better position now of negotiating with their banker with their financing.
Wow. Yeah.
John, I think that strikes me as just right, because I know a few of those kind of people who they have nice businesses. They've for the most part financed it entirely themselves.
Mhm.
But now they got bigger. Now they have a working capital need. They don't get paid as well, or they get paid later. But they don't have one clue about how to go to the bank. And the banks are kind of formidable, and it can be, and require all this financial statements and this and that. Somebody makes that easy is going to have a good business.
Well, I hope so, and I'm excited about it, and I should be up and running within a few weeks. Just putting the remaining pieces in place here, but I want to make sure that when I'm ready, that I can provide the best service to my clientele, and I have no idea how this is going to take off because I've talked to other bankers and they've all like thought to themselves, so wow, that's a fantastic idea.
Great
But
idea.
I don't know of any other retired bankers who are doing this.
Yeah.
So of course, when you go into business, it's always about an idea.
Right.
And a lot of people have ideas, and I count it as a banker. They come to me, they have an idea and so forth. But now, how do you monetize that idea? How do you market that idea? And when you have an idea, when you have a product or a service that you believe is going to be accepted in the marketplace, you have to understand that there needs to be a demand for it. So I don't even know when I first started venturing down this path, is there really going to be a demand for this? Well, I'm being advised over and over again by many resources out there, some very credible professionals in the business community that tell me, says, of course there's going to be a demand for this, John. So I'm going to test the waters here.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt there's going to be a demand for it because, I mean, listen, when you start a business or you started a business and you want to grow it, and you do need that cash flow, you have really, if you don't have it yourself, your other option is to find investors. At that point, you're probably splitting up your business and giving up ownership that you might not want to do. Your other option is going to a bank, right?
Mhm.
When you go to a bank at that point, and obviously way better than anybody else in this room does, but you got to prove to that bank that you're worthy of the dollars that you're looking for, right? And
Absolutely.
you got to do it in a way that you know how to do it because that's what you did for so long. So you're like a secret weapon in someone's back pocket that's going to that bank, which is fantastic. And it's really probably a very big advantage for that person when they do go to get that money.
Yeah. Yes. Nick, well said. Would you like to be my spokesperson?
I mean, I just think it's a great idea. I think that there's plenty of people out there that could use your services and your guidance to help them. And ideally, it's really for the betterment of everybody. So I think you really have a great business plan. That's fantastic. What a great idea.
Well, thank you, Nick. And I think what also a lot of business owners and anybody, even real estate investors, developers. I mean, I've been involved in many different sectors of commercial banking, but I think what people need to recognize is that banks want to make loans. Okay, they're out there to leverage their capital. They're out there to put their deposit money to work and so forth. They don't want to let it sitting in Fed funds or Treasury and so forth. And community banks, they're community banks because what they do is they take deposits and they want to reinvest it back into the community. And one way of doing that is lending the money back to businesses for real estate projects, for home ownership, and also for other personal reasons.
But they're not really in the counseling business. They're in the lending business.
A true banker is going to be a trusted advisor, but that's where I find that there's really a dearth of.
You were one of them, but there aren't very many of them out there.
Yeah, I hate to give my industry a black eye, but I think a lot of my colleagues would agree with that. That there are many bankers out there, but there are maybe just a handful of really true financial and advisors and trusted partners.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I mean, if you do go to a bank, you're hoping that bank is going to be supportive of you from start to finish, right?
Yes.
And that might not always be the case. It might just be, hey, and especially if it's community bank, it might be a little more aligned that way. But if you go to a bigger bank, you might just be a number, and if you're not producing, then you're not producing, and it's game over, right? So there might not be a person that you can call and help you with the advice that you might need to keep going where you have started.
And you're likely to be I mean, your interests are aligned with the banks, not opposed to the banks.
No,
So
exactly.
the banks can be your referral source eventually, can't they, John?
Absolutely. In fact, I've already started speaking to some bankers, including my alma mater there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they said, "Wow, this could be fantastic."
Yeah.
But I can be an ally not just to not just to my clients, but to the banks as well,
Yeah,
because I'm looking to match entrepreneurs
Yeah.
with banks.
Now that is a good service because most of the time you got a square peg in a round hole, and you're gonna be that's the role for you, matchmaking, because you probably have come to know what a lot of the banks around are looking for.
Yes, exactly. And what I do want to make clear though is a distinction that I am not a loan broker.
Right.
There are a lot of loan brokers out there, but
Uh-huh.
loan brokers don't provide that advisory service that I'm going to be
Yeah, yeah.
providing.
Mhm.
I'm not looking to go out there and shop your application.
Yeah.
That's what a loan broker does, and that's a commodity.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a commodity here. I want to be a specialist. And so I'm not gonna be a loan broker. I'm not gonna charge a percentage of your loan, of your loan that you gets approved and so forth. My fee structure is gonna be based on, the value of services that I provide. And those services is not gonna be cookie cutter. It's gonna be tailored on the individual client needs. Does a client need me to help them put together the application package? Does a client need me to accompany them with the bank and negotiate the structuring of the loan? Does a client need me to walk them through the approval and the closing process and even the post-closing process? So it depends on how many stages of the credit process the client needs me is based on what my is what my service could be based on there. So
And John, remind us now, go back a little bit. You're a true blue Mayapack boy, right? Or did I pronounce it wrong? What's the how do you call
well,
it?
well, first of all, there's more than one Mayapack or Mahopack. I say Mayapack, and
All right, Mayapack.
yeah, so I say Mayapack. Yes, I'm a graduate of Mayapack High School, and I'm also, but I also not just consider myself a Mayapack person. I consider myself a Putnam person.
Yeah.
Because I spent over 30 years of my banking career based here in Putnam County.
Yeah.
Of course, like I said, the last 24 and a half years with Tompkins, working out of their Brewster office. But even before that, sitting here within this building, I spent 8-9 years working for Country Bank out of this building here.
So you've seen this vault before.
Oh, I've been in this vault plenty of times. What are you kidding?
Julia's store was his office.
Yes.
Oh, God.
I didn't know that. It's great.
So when did you stop being shy? Because you told us at one point
yes,
that
yes,
you were very shy as a child.
Yes.
How did you grow out of that?
I have no idea, but all I know is that at some point, my parents reminded me about that. In fact, it must have been when I was either a teenager or a young adult, because I do recall that my father used to always joke around with his employees, says, this is my son. I couldn't get a word out of him as a child, and we were worried about him, and now I can't shut the kid up.
And what was the family business that your family did?
Well, we were in a bakery business.
Really?
Yes, a couple of them. Again, right here from the roots of Mayapack.
Kraus Bakery? No, what was it called?
No, my father owned some of the old timers in Mayapack will remember it. The Baldwin Pastry Shop, which was in the Baldwin Place shopping center, the original one before it was reconstructed. So my father, I think he opened that business in 1966. So he was one of the first tenants of the Baldwin shopping center. And he was also one of the last tenants to leave before when they were ousting the tenants to tear down the shopping center to rebuild it to what it is today. I believe it's Somers Commons.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had that. He had that business there in Baldwin Place for over 20 years. And then shortly after that, my aunt opened up a bakery in Mayapack on Clark Place. Some of the old timers again remember the old dollhouse building, which she converted into Barbarian Desserts.
It's Savor now.
And
This is a great history lesson. This is so cool.
Yeah, so yeah, taking you down memory lane here. So yeah, it's the bakery business has been in our blood here, and a lot of people say, "Well, how'd you wind up at banking?" And I says, "Well, they're still dealing with bread and dough." So
You're still dealing with bread and dough.
comedy was not my forte, as you can probably tell.
Well, you do fine, John. You're a
So-
very nice guy, and we need to just formally thank you for all you've done for us, because when you were a banker and the Tompkins Bank, there would be no voice of Putnam business, there would be no Putnam County Business Council. Yeah, hopefully there would, but your sponsorship has been really important. Your former institution and you personally, so thank you for all that.
Well, absolutely. Like I said, I have a lot of great memories with Tompkins and with Putnam County, the business community, and all you folks. So, thank you for everything you've done for me and support. So it's been a great ride.
I got 2 sons here.
Go, we're not done. We got.
No, I just want to put it in, like, really explain the role that John
do.
played. So I was the chairwoman of the Mayapack Carmel Chamber of Commerce when you remember this, but you didn't know all the politics.
I don't.
And there was a lot of politics back then. The Rooster Chamber hated us and like all of this stuff. And John Kraus was my mentor, my rock, like kept me going, got the power of the entire bank behind us, which was huge because they had a lot of important people on the Brewster board, and just John's influence, number one, when things got rough, kept me going. But just being behind it, really always believed that having an organization that was focused countywide and on the legislative issues and on all those things, John believed in it from day one. I mean, he used to call me into his office and have my articles highlighted, and I'd be like, oh shit. But it was always out of love and support, and I'm so grateful. So one of my first mentors in the area. So
Well,
thank you, John.
A long, great friendship as well, Jen. So we've done a lot for each other. So we've
Absolutely.
The relationship was mutual.
Yeah,
It's
thank
still
you.
going. And it's
Yeah,
still going.
oh,
It's still going.
absolutely.
You know, that's-
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we are really happy that you decided to reinvent yourself, John, because we're not going to talk about your age, but you could have retired.
I could have.
You'd served the world pretty well, but as you said earlier, you didn't want to do that. You had some gas in the tank, and you want to do it.
To be honest with you, I'm actually getting excited about this now. A few months ago, when I said, "Oh, starting up a consulting business," but now I'm really getting excited about this. And as Jen was talking about her early days and getting organizations going and so forth, I have to say she's been one of my influencers and driving me down this path here. So
this is pretty crazy because I'm in a group chat with a bunch of my friends. There's probably 8 or 9 of us, and all between mid-30s to mid-40s. And for the past 2 weeks, the conversation has been solely about reinventing yourself. When things aren't going your way, when something gets tough, business not there, how do you reinvent yourself? And how do you have the ability and power and drive to reinvent yourself? Because it's not easy. It's not easy to say, hey, I'm going to go in a different direction than what I've been comfortable with for the past 30, 40 years. And all of a sudden, now you're starting your own business, you're doing it. And it's crazy that conversation has been already on my mind, and now I'm listening to you, and I'm going to bring it back to the conversation with these guys and say, hey, listen, I'm seeing it firsthand with a friend of mine that is doing it, and I feel confident that you're going to have such success with it. It's really just cool to listen to right now because it's like almost like it's supposed to be here right now.
Mhm.
well, I can tell he's as excited as I am.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. I like to see the energy that you have to reinvent yourself. It's fantastic.
Well, Nick, you just mentioned a key operative word, comfort, and one of the keys here is to get out of your comfort zone, and that's what I had to do, and I'm sure that's what many other people had to do. When they took a different direction with their life or careers or what have you. So, and that's what I decided I had to do. I said I had to get out of my comfort zone. I've been gainfully employed for decades, and I said now it's time to try something different.
Yeah.
And by getting out of that comfort zone and really being committed to it, there's actually a sense of excitement that goes behind it too, and that excitement then refuels you and it just keeps snowballing. So it's I'm really looking forward to it, and whether I get one client or whether I get 1,000 clients, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it either way.
So, John, I'm not sure, I don't know enough about them, but can the SCORE organization be a feeder for you?
It's funny you mentioned SCORE because one of the things I did to try to keep myself occupied is I also became a SCORE volunteer with the Westchester chapter. So by that, I get to help mentor young entrepreneurs with their business ideas, or helping them launch their business, or getting their business to the next stage. But to answer your question, now, can they be a feeder? I don't know. That was not my motivation for joining SCORE. I just wanted to, again, I wanted to help.
You
I
wanted
wanted
to use your
right,
experiences.
exactly. And as a volunteer, of course, there's no compensation, but that wasn't a purpose there. But the purpose was to be re-engaged and so forth. So can SCORE be a feeder? I'm not really looking to that organization to do that, and that would not be the premise. But I can envision that at some point, I'd like to see some of the success stories, the many success stories that come out of SCORE, the businesses maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the road, when they're now ready to reach the next stage of their business life cycle, that maybe that's where I can be a resource to them.
Because the SCORE does a lot with startups. Is that the case? I don't know.
Yeah, with startups or young businesses, or business trying to get to the next stage. But usually when businesses are up and rolling and so forth, and then they're going to be needing a new level of consultation, and that's a space I think I'm confident I will be able to fulfill.
I mean, that sounds like something did you volunteering with SCORE help out this light bulb of, hey, I'm gonna go into this consulting and the way you're gonna do it?
Actually, the both ideas came about concurrently. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's in fact, while I was thinking about what to do with my life, I said, well, I always want to do some volunteer work and so forth in retirement, but I'm not really retired yet. So SCORE was a great medium for me, that it enabled me to keep active, to stay busy, to employ the skills that I've developed over the years of my banking career, and I'm looking forward to helping a lot of young entrepreneurs with their ideas, and also with their dreams.
Did you take a break at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I took some. You probably noticed a little bit of tan on me. So I do get a little away.
I would say that you look younger than the last time you were here.
Well, maybe a little decompression helps. But I will say that as you enter the latter stages of your life, there's also a life balance component that comes into play. And of course, I still have 2 boys here who are not ready for college yet. So
Really?
I got to spend some time. One of my sons played a lot of baseball, travel baseball, and I got to be the assistant baseball coach to his travel team.
Awesome.
That's something I couldn't have done when I was working,
Yeah.
because I just didn't have the time, and I couldn't get home in time and so forth. So spending a lot more time with my family and my kids, and having a little more time to get away and so forth.
Good.
That's where the other part of the equation comes in.
You may not have gotten to this detail yet, but will your office be in your house?
Initially, yes, but my wife probably cannot wait till I get a little maybe shared office space outside, and I probably can't wait either. And listen, I love my wife and everything like that, but we've always had this time apart while I was working and so forth, and now all of a sudden I'm home all the time. So I think a little bit of division again would help out, so she could continue doing what she does best, and I could do what I do best.
Now, your roots are in Mahopac, they're in Putnam County. Do you see a lot of your consulting being in this area, or do you see it being more widespread? Where are you going to focus?
Initially, I'm going to focus. That's a great question, Nick, because as I'm working on my website here, my marketing consultant asked that, are you going to be looking to regionalize this, nationalize, and so forth? So, no, let's take some small steps here. So I want to focus on the markets that I know well, and that's right here in the Lower Hudson Valley, Greater New York metro area. So
good.
I've learned that from community bank, and stay within your footprint that you know best, because that's where your successes come from.
Yeah.
So I said, let's not try to reach for the stars right away here.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. And you know a lot of people in this area, so you have a lot of contacts, and it's just about reaching out to people and saying, hey, do you know somebody that could use my services and my consulting? So
and I know the market. I know the banks. I know what the banks are looking for and so forth. What banks are have an appetite for what types of credit, and so again, it
could work really nicely. I think it's
stay within the region.
So how are we going to help? How are Nick and me and Jen going to help you with this? I mean, get you back on the podcast, but we can't do that for a little while.
No, listen, it's just
We got to give you a little chance to get out there. But you know what? Let us know for whom you've been able to supply a good service, because we'll put Nick on them and bring them into the podcast and get them to sing your praises.
That would
Yeah.
actually be a great idea. Yeah. So anybody
Yeah.
that you're working with that's making it and doing the right things and getting their business up and running with your support, they'd be a great asset to us.
You know, and I appreciate that, but what's going to measure my success
Yeah.
is when I get feedback from my clients as saying that I would not have gotten to the next stage of my business
Yeah.
without John's help here. And that's going to be the greatest gratitude that I can have, is when I see success coming from my clients here.
Amen.
Because I'm not looking to do this just to make a living. I'm doing this to make an impact.
It's very, very different. And I've learned this recently. When you're doing something with selflessness, and it creates a passion for you that you really, really enjoy. So that's what I'm listening to right now, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
But what can you do for me? It's going to be what we're doing right now. It's I've always believed in the power of networking, and that's one thing I've done all this time, is I've stayed very involved with a number of networking groups. And as I get my business launched, I'm going to be expanding my networking base. But I stay closely connected with many of my networking resources. In fact, a lot of them inquire, says, John, what are you doing with your life now? And you plan on getting back in the bank? And so they're interested in me as well too. So that means a lot. And so it's all going to be about networking here.
Do you want to give us a name, or is that of your business, or do you want to let that?
No, it's official
grow
right
on,
now. No, it's official. It's going to be called Premier Credit Insights and Solutions LLC.
Premier Credit Insights and Solutions.
And Solutions, right? And like I mentioned, my website should be launched in a couple of weeks, and also I'll send you folks the link and everything, and you can take a look at it. And
Please do.
The world is woefully short of insight and solution, John. So that's a good way to describe your business.
yes, and I want to instill confidence in entrepreneurs. That's what I want to do. I want to instill confidence in them, and I want to help them navigate through the complexities of commercial credit. Because let's face it could be undaunting, and it could be a harrowing experience. And I've seen it from bank customers when they come in, and I can sense that they really don't have that knowledge as to really what they're looking for. And I'll give you an example. I've had a number of customers come in and said, I need a line of credit. Well, how much of a line do you need? I don't know. They just throw out a figure.
Right.
Well, what do you need it for? I said, well, I'm not sure, but I know I'm having trouble meeting my payroll. I'm having trouble meeting my operating costs and so forth. That's not what they need the line for. That's not what they need the loan for. So as a consultant, I'm gonna get to the root causes. I'm gonna do a financial analysis of their business here and so forth. And as I said, we're gonna get down to the borrowing costs here. So you can't meet your payroll because you have growing receivables or growing inventory, for example. And you can only rely so much on your trade suppliers. So you not being able to meet your payroll and operating costs is not the reason why you need to borrow. You need to borrow because your business is growing and you need more working capital.
Mhm.
So now let's structure a loan that's going to meet your working capital needs. So then you have the liquidity and you have the cash flow to be able to meet your payroll and operating expenses on a timely basis.
That's some good knowledge right there.
Gosh. I hope everybody heard that.
That's free advice right there.
But that is
That was
just
great.
right. John, we look forward to having you back, and so that you can tell us about how you're doing. We look forward to getting word that Premier Credit Insights and Solutions, John Kraus's new business, is gonna succeed. So we'll be delighted to have you back, and we wish you all kinds of good luck. What do you think, Nick?
Absolutely. I know it's gonna happen.
Nick, thank you very much, and it's great seeing you guys again, and look forward to coming back again.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll
Thank
have you
you.
back. We'll have you back.